Here we are, part 2. So we were at this point where we were taking negative 3 times row 1 and adding it to row 3. That creates a 0 here. What does it create for our y term? I'll put a y. I'm going to come up with this number now. Minus 3 times a minus 1/2 is a positive 3/2. Add it to 0 is 3/2. Oops, only one y there. Next term, I'm going to take negative 3 times to the z term. Negative 3 times 1/2 is a negative 3/2. Add it to a minus 1 because that z, negative z, means a negative 1z. So when I have negative 3/2 minus 1, I get a minus 5/2. And minus 3 times 3/2 is a minus 9/2. Add it to 0 is a minus 9/2. Alright, so we're closer to row echelon form. We have a 1 in front of this x term and no x terms underneath of it. The next goal in row echelon form is to go to the y term, and we want the lead term in front of the second equation where it begins with the y term to be a 1. So what can I do to 3/2 to create a 1 there? I can divide by 3/2 or multiply by the reciprocal. I'll multiply everything by 2/3, so it's going to be 2/3 times row 2. And I won't be adding to anything, I'm just going to use that one operation, this one, multiplying the equation by a constant. I'm going to multiply this equation by 2/3. It will change all of the numbers in equation 2, so I'm going to rewrite equation 1 and 3 unchanged. There's the first. Here's the third. Is that a minus sign? It is. And when I multiply 2/3 times this, it becomes y, just 1y, which was my goal. I wanted the coefficient here to be 1. And then 2/3 times 1/2 is going to be 2/6, which reduces to 1/3. And 2/3 times 9/2, I believe, gives me a 3. Alright, so mission accomplished there. The lead coefficient is drat. Okay, I messed up. Alrighty, how do I improve this? Oh, I did it. I just kind of wrote this wrong. I thought I messed up, but this y term I should have in this row, this column, aligning up the y's better than I did in the z's. So I thought I'd messed up, but hopefully you lined them up well. If you didn't, let's go ahead and line them up. So underneath the y, I had 3/2 y and a minus 5/2 z equals negative 9/2. Alright, that's lined up better. Sorry about that. Alright, so row echelon form, I'm closer. And now I'm going to, the next goal in row echelon form is to get everything under this y. Once I've got the lead coefficient 1, every y term under it to be 0. So I want to work on this right here. How can I get that to be 0? Using this. So I'm going to multiply row 2 by the negative 3/2, and I'm going to add it to row 3. That will change row 3 only, and row 1 and 2 will be the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but before I actually do it, I'm going to rewrite the first two equations. Unaltered. See if I can line them up. Only the third one's going to change. So notice I'm telling you what I'm doing and what row is going to change. So when I do this one, there you go, out into the view here. So I'm going to multiply everything in row 2 by negative 3 halves and add it to row 3, replacing row 3. So this times negative 3 halves is 1. Oh, wait a minute, it shouldn't be negative, should it? Yeah, it should. So there's a 1 here, so I'm going to multiply negative 3 halves times 1, get negative 3 halves, and add it to 3 halves. So that gives me 0. Why? I would have written it here, but I'm not going to write it. So it's gone, it's a 0. So now I have to continue and do the same pattern for the rest of the terms. Now over to the z term, negative 3 halves times negative 5 halves, add it to 1/3 becomes, I'm going to write it right there, is going to become positive 1/3 z. And I use my calculator sometimes to do these fractions because it's important not to mess them up along the way. So, and again, let me tell you where I got that. Remember, my goal is to multiply every every term in row 2 by negative 3 halves and add it to row 3. So I multiplied 1/3 by negative 3 halves and added it to 1/3. And I got, negative 1/3 times the element in row 2, so that's negative 3 halves times 1/3, added it to row 3. So I added it to this, negative 5 halves, and I got a positive 1/3 z. And lastly, I have to do that with the constant as well. So negative 3 halves times 3 minus 9 halves. And when I did that, I came up with the answer of negative, what did I have there? I think I messed up in telling you. I think this was not a 1/3, but a minus 3. Would you check that for me? Let's go back and see where it came from. Negative 3 halves times 1/3 plus a negative 5 halves is a negative 3. All right, hopefully that's right. We'll find out in a minute, and I'll alter it if it is wrong. We have to deal with this constant, multiply the constant, negative 3 halves times 3 plus a negative 9 halves. And when I do that, I came out with a negative 9. So we're almost in row echelon form. Can you guess what has to be done? This has to be a 1. So we have a 1 in front of the x and nothing under it, a 1 in front of the y and nothing under it, and we're going to, in a minute, have a 1 in front of the z. We can do that by dividing everything by negative 3. I don't have really a lot of room left, so I'm going to just replace this equation with what it would look like if we divided this by negative 3 and this by negative 3. Or you can think of it as multiplying by 1/3. Negative 1/3, so I'm going to get z equals 3. This is row echelon form, and we will always put our equations, when we're using Gaussian elimination, we will put them in row echelon form. We can get the answer quickly now. You can see we already got z equals 3, so in my ordered triplet, remember the x, y, and z, we're going to put a 3 here. And we're going to back substitute, so we're going to go up to the equation before it, and everywhere there's a z, we're going to put in the 3. Now that we know z is 3, this equation becomes y plus 1/3 3 equals 3. Well, 1/3 times 3 is a 1. Move the 1 over by subtraction, and we get quickly that y equals 2. It'll go up in this spot. And you can use any equation on the whole board to get x. They're all true. So this is a pretty good one. X plus y plus z equals 6. So we just found out that y was 2. So I'll just put a 2 there. And we found out z was 3. So what number plus 2 plus 3 will give me 6? X must be 1. 1, 2, 3, as easy as 1, 2, 3? Not. But anyway, that is the answer. So, you've been introduced to Gaussian elimination using elementary row operations, putting the system of equations in row echelon form, and then finishing the assignment by back substitution. That will give you the point. So these three planes up here intersect at the point 1 on the x-axis, 2 on the y, 3 on the z-axis. Alright, these will come clear to you even more when you work on them tomorrow. We'll have about 6 of them to do. We'll do the first one together and you'll be flying down the hill. Alright, hope your evening is going to go well, and I will see you back in class tomorrow. Over and out.